Okay, I'm rebuilding the door check, whatever you want to call it. They're little tabs. I'm going to pry them up with a hammer. Well, this is important that you pay attention to how all this stuff fits in here, because when you pull it out, it'll kind of fly everywhere. There's springs on the top and bottom that press the little rollers into the indentations. There are three positions for the rollers. That's where the doors are held. So you just want to pull those things out. That's what we're lubricating. And do the same. Pull out the spring, the roller, and they're the same on both sides, so it doesn't really matter how it goes in. If you somehow manage to break off one of these bolts, or one of those studs, they're press fit into this case, so you can get them out right there. So you can see some points of friction right there on the back of the roller. It fits in that way. You need to make sure that you put it in the right orientation because they're not spaced evenly. Put some grease all over the arm as well as the case and both of the rollers, but you also want to hit the joint where it actually rolls, since those are just kind of press fit into the plastic pieces. Then I might just kind of give these a shot of lubricant just so they don't completely rust up. And then I'll put everything back together. Once you feel you've screamed enough obscenities, you can go ahead and put it back in. The orientation matters. You'll want to put it on the side where that little hole lines up with the one over there. So in this case, for the rear passenger door, just like that. Now, I actually modified my doors because the 98 and 99 have a common problem of the metal splitting and fracturing where these door checks bolt up. So I drilled some holes and riveted a little bit of reinforcement to the back of the door plate there, just to make it a little bit stronger. The best way to get this thing to come back out is to hit the other side with a hammer. There you go. So it came out enough so that you can close the door slightly, bolt that back on, and then you can test it out. Make sure it's moving freely. This is a 10mm. You can also use a JIS screwdriver. These are also 10mm, and be very careful not to torque those down too tight. I've broken off a couple of those studs before. I think some engineer at Toyota probably talked to a mechanic and put the ashtrays in there so that you could fit all the hardware in there while you're taking off the door panel. Don't forget to reconnect that light. The connector is back up in there. I always forget to do that. I just replaced that bulb, so yay, that's working again. There's also a screw in here. There's the screw. Bingo. When you're taking these off, you can use a flathead to pop that little piece out. Then I typically put the flathead here and pry down, and that'll pop the plastic back towards you, and you open the handle and pull it away. There are 2 JIS screwdrivers in the passenger door, or the rear doors, and 4 in the front doors, and they're marked with little bits of white paint on mine. And you'll want to use these little clips. Push that piece all the way out, shove it in, and push that in. Don't forget to reconnect the window switch, and be very careful not to break that tab. Bingo.